consumer behavior has changed, and it changed permanently. That means that it was not just a short period of time to cope with COVID. This is now a top priority, a high priority for every brand, because the world is moving from offline to online.
Right. Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley, in partnership with Lomitech, and sponsored by Homeward Ventures, Hippo Insurance, Upwest, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, and Birthright Excel, and in media partnership with CTech. The world is constantly changing, and this past 2 years has seen a dramatic increase in the consumer expectation to receive products faster and cheaper. Meet Guy Bloch, the CEO of Bringg. Guy has nearly 20 years of experience leading large organizations in the global enterprise software market, transforming them into highly successful hyper-growth environments. He joined Bringg after spending 6 years in senior leadership roles at Splunk, including COO, EMEA, and Area Vice President of Sales, after previously serving in leadership positions at HP Enterprise, Appilog, and Emblaze. Guy has an MBA from New York Institute of Technology and a Bachelor's of Arts from Ben-Gurion University. Guy Bloch, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. I'm so honored to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. So good to be here.
Well, the real reason I'm thanking you is not just for being here, but for the technology that you're leading and developing, helping businesses thrive in the era of last mile deliveries and efficiency. It's no secret that my generation, as well as other generations, were very impatient. And so we like to get our things quickly, and you're helping us get exactly that. So thank you very, very much, Guy. Before we get into Bringg and what you're doing there, tell me a little bit about your own trajectory. You also were an executive in one of my favorite companies called Splunk, which I used very, very frequently as an engineer. But tell me a little bit about your own career, and then we'll dive into the world of last mile delivery and optimization and logistics. So, Guy, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, happy to. So I was born and raised in Israel, and just after I graduated my bachelor degree, I actually moved to do my MBA in the US, in New York, New York Institute of Technology. And one thing led to another, and I stayed there for 20 years. And I came back just 5 years ago with a beautiful family, a wife and 3 kids. And along the journey there, I spent all my time in enterprise software, working for various companies, startups and medium-sized companies and very large companies like HP Software back in the years. And my last 6 years before I joined Bringg, I actually had the pleasure to be part of an amazing and super successful company, which is Splunk. I joined Splunk when we were still a couple of hundreds of people and just starting the journey just after the IPO. And the whole notion there was, how do we really go and conquer the world and really grow in a global fashion into every region, every territory, every country, and bring the depth and the power of log files and the log file management to companies. When I joined Splunk, I spent a couple of years as leading the East Coast for Splunk. And at a certain point, 3 years into my time with Splunk, we realized that international markets have to kick in order for us to grow even faster. And we decided that one of us should go there, and instead of building a proxy of the company in EMEA, it's actually to bring the company into EMEA and build ourselves very deep into this market. I was there for close to 3 years. I moved my family to the region. I worked there in London for 3 years. I had the pleasure to work in, not just there, but almost every country in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And what a journey. When I left Splunk, we were 5,000 employees, close to $2 billion in revenue.
Oh my God.
And it was just kept on growing.
Unbelievable. So the tradition and the pattern of helping other businesses thrive and It just continues with Bringg. And before we get into Bringg specifically, tell me about the delivery world. And the last time we spoke was about 2 years ago before COVID, when deliveries were huge, but now they're like crazy huge. So tell me a little bit about where we're at in, approaching 2022 in terms of deliveries, and more interestingly, not just the delivery itself, but how are businesses adapting to this new world and this new age of deliveries?
Well, if I summarize it in one word, then it's COVID. COVID changed the world. It changed all of that for us as consumers, as human beings first. And in the time of COVID, and we saw it very quickly, as soon as COVID started and hit Europe before it even hit Americas, we realized that this thing is not going away. And during that time, we'll have so many lockdowns as we see today. And even without the lockdowns and restrictions, people would just avoid getting into crowded places to protect themselves. And therefore, if you cannot leave your house and go get your food, groceries, retail merchandise, if you cannot get it from the store, then it needs to come to you.
Right.
And everything that we envisioned for the market to happen within a few years and all the way into 2025, it just happened in few weeks.
Unbelievable.
And what we saw is that every consumer out there expects their brands to provide convenient, cost-effective, very fast, extremely fast, and reliable delivery. You do it well, they buy from you. You don't do that well, they go somewhere else where they can get your merchandise, or the foods, or the goods, so where they can get it, but also get it at the service that they want. What we realized is that customers want to control this experience. So as a customer, you want to define where, how, and when you're going to get your delivery. And as long as you're in control, that's where you're going to purchase. What was interesting is that what was nice to have before COVID, and many companies explored it, became a must-have. That created a lot of panic in the market. And every brand was looking for different ways to recover their revenue stream. And therefore, we saw a big move from the market into scaling up and optimizing their last mile. And for us, the last couple of years were fast and furious. That means a lot on us as a company. But it was fast and furious. And what's more interesting is that even with COVID in some countries is fading out, or at least is getting to somehow a normal state, and we see stores opening up and people going out back to the streets. Still, consumers, they got wired now that everything can get to them when, how, and where they want it. And therefore, while we see less volume in certain areas of deliveries, we still see it so much more higher than what it used to be before. In other words, consumer behavior has changed, and it changed permanently. So that means that it was not just a short period of time to cope with COVID. This is now a top priority, a high priority for every brand, because the world is moving from offline to online.
Right. Now, why is it so freaking hard? I mean, I think most people can think, okay, yeah, sure, you want delivery, great. There's a bunch of people on motorcycles. They have Waze, they have Google Maps. Pick up the package, bring it to the door. Easy. Why are you making such a big fuss about this thing? Why is it so hard, guy?
Because it's a physical world. This is not a digital world. You're moving physical assets, physical goods. You're talking about dispatchers and drivers and warehouses and stores and customers. Those are real things. And to digitize and connect those things so algorithms can move them, it's not an easy journey. Imagine a brand that did deliveries before, but in the traditional way. You can buy online, get it, standard shipping, maybe expedited shipping, some sort of tracking and visibility. Imagine them now moving into shipping and delivering millions of packages, millions of goods, millions of food items to millions of customers from stores, from warehouses, using their fleet, their own drivers, using someone else's fleet. And usually it's not one fleet because you have crowdsourced, the gig economy, you have 3PLs, you have parcels, FedEx, UPS, DHL, and do all of that. And some is from warehouse, some is from the stores, some is from distribution center. And then some of that will be scheduled where you can actually decide when you want to receive it. But some is on demand, 30 minutes, an hour. To do all of that for a brand that is not expert in technology, in logistic technology, and not expert in building logistic network, ouch, that's hard. That's very hard. And what's fascinating is that this is where technology, and I think this is one of the only areas, and I've been in this enterprise software for so many years. This is one of the only areas when technology actually meets the real world. And that's hard. That's a big challenge. And when you look around, those that really perfected it are those that we love buying from them. Amazon, DoorDash, Uber, Deliveroo, Wolt here in Israel. Those are the companies that we love to buy from. Why? Because there are no brands. There are technology companies. Hundreds and billions of dollars are being spent on building technology to digitize and connect their fulfillment and delivery network. But then there are also logistic companies. They have their own gig economy. They have their own gig drivers, and they have access to millions of drivers. And when you have those two and connected, you can perfect that. Every other brand in the world is just not in that position.
I love it. Okay, and that brings us to Bringg. So we understand the consumer change. We understand the difficulty and the challenge that this poses. Where does Bringg come into store?
Well, Bringg is here to give every brand the alternative to scale up and optimize so they can act, move, and play like they were a marketplace, like they were Uber or DoorDash or Deliveroo or Amazon. What does it mean? It means technology on one side, and access to logistic network. So technology, our philosophy is very simple. When you digitize and when you connect every node, every step of your fulfillment and your delivery network, or your delivery process, then the whole idea of automation, optimization, orchestration of delivery experiences becomes a data intelligence game. And that's the first thing that we bring to our customers is a control tower, an orchestration platform that they can digitize and connect their internal systems, if it's the ERP and the e-commerce platform, and OMS, order management system, and inventory management system. So connect with that, be able to receive all the orders into one place. And from that point, make a decision. Do you want to do buy online, pick up in store? Do you want to do curbside where a customer will drive by the store, you'll know that they're outside, and the store associate will put it into their car? Do you want maybe to deliver to lockers and then have customers come and pick it up? By the way, those three models of BOPIs, curbside, lockers, those are not just the most efficient models for the brands to offer consumers. They're also the greener, the most sustainable options, because now you don't have carbon emission being produced to ship items to customers. They actually come to get it from lockers and spend time there. So that's one. But then offering customers the ability to do 30-minute delivery, an hour, 2 hour, same day, next day, allowing them. And by the way, not everything has to be delivered quickly, but to have the option, the brand, to be in a position to offer an option for the consumer to decide if they want to get it in 1 hour or 2 hours or same day or next day or maybe even next week. The fact that they're giving them the option, that's what's compelling. That's what makes them want to buy. And then it goes into the logistics side of it. How are you going to do that? And if you do that only with a single carrier or a couple of carriers, your hands are locked. Your hands are tied. Because you need geographic coverage and you need peak time coverage, right? So during lunchtime or during dinner time, you have less drivers that are demand out there, then you need to expand in order for you to meet the SLA. For the consumer, does it really matter if your delivery provider didn't meet the SLA and he paid the brand a penalty, if instead of 30 minutes, you got to the customer in 50 minutes, it doesn't really matter. So they need to have wide variety of options. And that's where they need access to so many fleets out there. And there are hundreds and thousands of regional carriers that want to do those deliveries, that want to service the brands, that their challenge, they working on a very old technology and moving them into a new technology and then making them accessible to every brand. It's what we do. And then believe it or not, some brands realize that the most efficient way to really deliver is to have your own fleet. Because if you know that you have a density of deliveries in certain areas,
Right.
why would you outsource all of that to someone else where you can have your driver do few deliveries on every run and not one delivery per run?
100%.
So, and that's what we do. So we give them a control tower that gives them the option to offer both these curbside and lockers, and then using their fleet or someone else's fleet globally, nationwide and globally, offer endless ways to deliver and provide options to customers. And in the bottom of that, there is a big data lake that contains a lot of data that we create and they create. And when all this data is in one place, and it's such a rich data set, the amount of insight and intelligence you can get so you can make better decisions and always find the most efficient way to deliver and delight your customers, provides endless value to them.
If you're looking at your experience now with Bringg and you're observing the way that all these different players are entering this new space, you're observing all these business owners and leaders and businesses coming in and experiencing deliveries for the first time. What surprised you? What is something about this transition that you're saying, wow, I did not expect it to be like this, beyond the fast pace that COVID brought in? What surprises you as a strategist and as a thinker that you're saying, wow, only because I got to experience this at this scale did I see this thing that is not as trivial as I thought it was?
There are a couple of things that really surprised me here. But first of all, the change in consumer behavior in a matter of months, if not weeks, and how people just got rewired on how they want to do shopping. And what we used to do, it's like, it almost feels like, go out to do shopping or pick up food from restaurant or go do 2 hour shopping in the grocery store. It almost feels like ancient times.
Yes.
But that's amazing. It's only 2 years that we're in it. And it just flipped. My dad, that I love him so much, is more than 70 years old. But damn, he orders food now on Wolt. And to see that changing so fast, it's exciting because we are in a position to make it happen for the brands. That's one. Second thing, how the economy moves from traditional way of doing things to the new way with the gig economy and offering all those models to customers. It happens so fast that it's scary to see how brands are exposed. And that's a big change. For us, it's inspiring because that's our mission. We are here for them. We are here to help each and every one of the brands scale up and optimize so they can play in the game, so they can bring a gun to a gunfight and not a knife to a gunfight, so they can play, they can compete, and they can protect their own brand. In the end of the day, it's about their brand. And that's very surprising to see how exposed they become. And the last thing that is very, I would say, even inspiring, in the end of the day, this industry is all about economy, the basics of economy, demand and supply. You have more demand, you will have more supply. If you have more demand and not enough supply, then prices will be higher, much higher. SLAs will not be met. Customers will not be delighted. If you have more supply, then demand prices will go down. It's equilibrium, and there is no static moment. It goes up and down on all sides. And for the last couple of years, we haven't got to a point where we felt like it's balanced.
Right.
It's up and down. And it goes back again into what we do. We are democratizing, this industry, and the fact that we're giving all of that in the hands of the brands they can always find that equilibrium for themselves. Those are the things that really inspire me. And I would summarize and say that you bring it all together. The only way to really, for the brands to win against the big guys that have perfected last mile over a few years, 10, 20 years, the only way is not to go head to head with them. It's to almost create a coalition, an alliance of all those small guys coming together, doing batching, bringing all the demand together, divided into densities, be able to collaborate. I know it seems like aspirational kind of strategy and vision, but no, it's happening today, where instead of one driver deliver for you, that driver on that same run can actually serve multiple retailers at the same time. That's a big challenge. It's a data challenge, but the fact that it's almost like a coalition coming together, creating a joint force to create alternatives to the marketplaces, that's exciting, especially when you're in the heart of that.
Right. Guy, thank you so much for these 20 minutes. They went by so fast. I'm so inspired by the work that you do. We didn't even get to talk about the crazy announcements that you guys have had over these past couple of years. And it's really phenomenal growth. That's old news. Incredible growth and incredible timing, amazing market, an amazing problem, and at the end, an incredible impact that you're making on all those around. And so thank you very much for the time and for the inspiration. Last question for you. A few words that you would choose to describe yourself. If I were to ask anybody at Bringg or Splunk, who is Guy Bloch? Who is he?
I would say, first of all, I think you can see it. This is my demeanor. Passionate. I drive by passion. My purpose is so deep. When I wake up in the morning, it's for that purpose that creates a passion for me. So very passionate. I'm damn determined. If I see something, no matter how hard it is, I will go through every obstacle and make it happen. And I would say resilient. Especially in my position, leading a company in a market that goes through turbulences, it takes a lot of resilience and resilience from me and from all the people around me here at Bringg. And I think this is something we take pride of. But no matter how hard it is, we're here for a purpose, and we will make fulfill on our vision, on our purpose, regardless how hard it is. Nothing will stop us.
Guy, thank you so much for these 20 minutes, for the inspiration. This was wonderful. Best of luck with Bringg, and continue making the huge impact. And thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Michael.